They're doing 2 floors at a time, and so he just went to jump up to the next floor. Fell through on that 5th tread right there.
So here we are in Fire Escape Academy Inspector Training, Portland, Oregon. We have 2 side-by-sides. The beige are the greatest ones because you can see everything. They make your job easy. And then you have a gray one, make your job easy. As you told me before, Pete, that the black ones, man, they're hard to tell. Very difficult. So, I need my easiest walking down the street violation I can ride is called deterioration. Do I have more paint than rust, more rust than paint on this one?
A lot of rust. A lot of rust.
Yeah, but do sadly, I got more paint though. I mean, can a spot paint fix the problem? Then you don't have a deterioration on this one. You basically have, if spot paint will fix it, then you don't have a deterioration. Now I need structural. I need to write this guy up on something. I need structural, but I can already see that it has been maintained. So let's take a look at the easy stuff first. Any joint failures anywhere? Oh, I've gone ahead too far. Any square bolts? Yeah. Okay, so right now I got 50 to 75-year-old square bolts on the treads and on the major supports. Okay, so that's a violation on structural. Now you can go to the other thing. You see railing structural problems with squares. All the treads riveted.
Where they connect to the balcony.
Where they connect, we've got evidence. You need any more? You got rust down here. Need any more? Now the repair, you're right, repair, paint, test. Right? The evaluation has to come back and satisfy you. If it doesn't, how many more times does this guy have to inspect it in order to satisfy you? All reports must be done on industry standard confidence tests, with photographs or without photographs. Okay? All fire escape inspections, the engineer must mark all the violations with a spot of yellow paint. Or contrasting color. I mean, I got a beige fire escape, I use black paint. I got a black fire escape, I use white paint. I can do anything. The contrasting color is for who?
The engineer or
for the occupant, the owner, right? The owner of the building says, "Oh, I got problems." If he photographs those white marks, who else gets to see those markings?
We do.
You do. The vendor shows up. He's got work to do. What's he got to do?
He's got to look at all the marks.
He's got to look at all the marks. The vendor, who's licensed in the ironworks field, knows he has to fix everything marked. What about everything that's not marked? Does his license force him to fix everything that's not marked? I mean, if I'm a sprinkler guy, can I go in and just fix one thing and not fix anything else, even though I know it's a problem? Can an electrician ever go in and fix one thing and leave a hazard without losing his license? Okay, fire escape guys can't do either. Welding guys can, and ornamental guys cannot leave anything that's within their industry standard that needs to be repaired. So even though the engineer marked 75% of the fire escape, in order to get this job as a vendor, he has to walk out here, walk the whole fire escape, use the engineer's report as a guideline, and he is supposed to fix everything identified and not identified, but is still part of the repair to the client. That's where you catch him. Everybody owns it. The engineer has to walk through the first time and mark. The engineer, in the charge that he has, must meet the guy here halfway through the job to verify that the work is being done according to standard. The engineer must be here at the end when the guy wants to get his check to sign off on the fire escape. Upon completion of the entire fire escape repair and satisfaction to you with photographs again saying everything's been fixed, I don't think they need the load test. I don't recommend. You say, well, the building is 75 years old, but you know what I'm going to do? Because the repair was so good and I walked it, I really liked it, I'm going to let the guy have 5 more years before he has to load test it. But he will have to put some pennies aside and spend, what's the estimate? Oh, right now he's got an estimate of $12,000 to do the load test on this. Well, over the next 5 years, and as the industry sort of fills out, the prices are going to come down on that. So I'll give you 5 more years to get the load test done on this, because you've come back with a confidence test and a level 2 confidence test verifying all the connections into the wall of good to excellent. You've refurbished it back to good. You've sealed every joint on this fire escape, and you have a full paint job, and I've got a 10-year warranty from your vendor. I don't need a load test. I will pass the load test, but because it's required here in our codes that you load test every 25 years. The building's 75, it's never been load tested, but I'll give you 5 more years to load test, and then at that time it's going to be 25 years later. But every 5 years from now you need to confidence test this with an engineer walkthrough, but every year I need the annual checklist to be done by one of your guys. Does it make sense what we just talked about?
Makes sense.
Oh, by the way, there's a tag on the lowest part of the railing or hanging down below 7 to 10 feet, and it's going to be a white tag. It says this fire escape has no deficiencies. During a fire, your guys come running over here like crazy people, and there's a fire side by side here. This has a white tag, this has a red tag. Which one do you think they can fight the fire immediately with, and which one are they going to call in reinforcements and the heavy equipment to get up to the 7th floor with ladders?
Red tag.
Okay, and they got the stack here. Can they, with this stack here, get on this fire escape and fight this fire, or is this a surround and drown building?
Surround and drown.
Well, if it's a surround and drown, where's the tag on the wall that says this is a surround and drown? Understand? So that's what these tags are going to be. So let's go put tags on everything: yellows, reds, or whites. And everything that's white, let it stay white. Everything that's red, let it stay red forever. And everything that's yellow, let it stay yellow, because those yellows and reds will work themselves out over the next 3 to 5 years. Let's take a look at this blue one. I mean, this gray one. What's the problem? It's got paint, right? So the guy's been good about painting. What else? Forget the tread. I know you guys are going right for the tread. What else you got? Square-headed bolts. So any evidence that it's been maintained or refurbished ever in its 75-year life. Okay? Any bolts that are suspect because of that. Okay. And the result is exactly what now you're going to see, which is a life safety issue. You got treads that fall due to snow, treads that fall due to that workers are trying to use them as access, or firemen went up. Now, if you're going up, you're going to hurt yourself. You go down as a fireman and your leg goes through and the body motion is still forward and you snap your knee forward. What happens to you in your career? You're done. So let's look at the lap joints on the fire escape ladder, which is what you guys use to fight the fires. The first lap joint on the right side, what do you see?
It looks like maybe it's separated, a little rust.
Exactly. So the first guys that are going to get hurt on these stupid things is your firefighters that have to climb these ladders as part of your training. They have to climb these ladders. And like, who was the gentleman that gave us that nice story? What was his name?
That's too light.
No, on the bike, talking with you.
On the bike.
Cruiser.
Bob Cruiser.
Okay. He said he was doing it back in his day in the 90s. He was walking one of these and doing what he used to do, a hammer test. And he was walking, he climbed the ladder because he's so used to climbing ladders, and the bolts on the lap joint gave way while he's climbing on the outside, and it dangled out enough, scared the hell out of him, and he still came down and was able to write the violation. He got lucky.
Jesus.
Okay, so on all of these, if you guys are telling me, what do you consider critical replacement? So let's say they're going to replace, the engineer comes back and says, I'm going to replace all the square head bolts. What is considered critical connections? Do you think the supports on this are considered critical?
Yes. Yeah.
You think every tread bolt is considered critical? How about every support railing post?
Yes.
Not the railing connections itself, not the whole railing, but the post of it. And how about the ladder? Especially for you guys here, is that considered critical? Everything else is considered not critical. It's part of the decoration. Okay? So that's what needs to be done on this. Now, every now and then you're going to get, just so you guys understand, don't have to take out a good square head bolt if it's proved to be good to excellent. You have to reinforce it. So don't think I'm going to make everybody come here. If I come here and I determine that every one of these what do you call it, the rivets are still good, I'm just going to drill another hole, put a bolt there. The rivet stays. If I determine that every one of these supports that has a square head bolt holding the supports is still good, I'm going to keep it. I just need to create some sort of connection next to it that puts a new bolt. So do not remove good ones, just reinforce them. If they're already bad, then just replace them. So that's what I mean by all the treads need to be, they don't need to be rebolted, they need to be reinforced and or rebolted, whatever's easier and whatever's required by the engineer report. Okay, and man, somebody climbing up this fire escape, this is
It's bad.
You know, would you ever require the loops, you know, the OSHA required loops on some of these?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. OSHA requires anything over 25 feet that they have to have a loop around behind you. So I highly recommend, because again, I don't see this in any other cities, this ladder on the outside just for you guys. You don't see it. You guys get in, and you guys are inside the cage. You guys are inside this thing. That's for you guys to use. You guys use the inside. I highly recommend that all these existing fire escape ladder, throw the word OSHA at it, gets loops. So I would loop the entire.
I know what you're talking about. We have a couple of loops.
Yes.
Sorry.
I would retrofit.
Cage all over.
I would loop every one, so in case you pass out, fall out, drop out of the ladder crawl, and these loops got to be big because you got tanks, you got stuff. So these loops got to be in such a way that you can still get up.
You're still gonna fall down. They're not
No.
staying up.
No, they trap you.
Down.
As soon as you come down, you'll trap yourself. You'll lock into the. That's what they're made for. You can't fall. So in case you fall, you'll fall and trap, and you'll lock in. And if you do fall straight down, one of your legs will eventually
Shorn off. Yeah.
get sheared off, or it will lock. But I'm going to speak with Stu about that. That says, because you guys are one of the few that does this, I highly recommend that we retrofit, and it won't affect the hysterical people, you know, the historic buildings and stuff. This is a life safety issue for you guys only, because none of the tenants use that thing. And you guys need this nice 3-foot loopy on the outside, retrofitted, painted to the color of the building, just to make it safe for you guys to go up and do this, okay? I mean, it may never happen, but it's going to be a very strong suggestion that these fire escapes get retrofitted for the safety of the firefighters, because that's too long, man. I mean, I don't care how good you are, that's crazy. But it has to be done during a fire. Somebody's got to get to the roof. Who do they pick? I mean, imagine being the guy that the chief is like putting his fingers on. Okay, who wants it? And everybody's like, oh, dude, don't look at me. Everybody's moving along. You know what I'm saying? So, so you got 2 violations here.